Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we have YSL Y EDP. Now this fragrance has been hyped to death by the biggest channels out there, and to me, honestly, I bought this fragrance because of that hype. I wasn't gonna buy it because online right now is just so damn expensive. This 60ml bottle has cost me $70, and I think 100ml goes for around $80 to $85, which is pretty damn expensive for a designer scent, to be perfectly honest. But I have to buy it because it's been getting so much hype. A lot of guys have been talking about it and wanting me to review it, so here it is. Jumping into the scent first, this one smells like your typical blue fragrance mixed with some sweetness. And what do I mean by that? Typical blue fragrances, when you think of blue fragrance, you think of Dior Sauvage, Bleu Chanel, Aqua Atlantique, Dylan Blue, Luna Rosa Carbon, Jimmy Choo Man Blue, YSL Y, the original EDT. Those are, typically the blue fragrance. Not that they all smell the same, they don't. They just have a similar shower gel-like vibe. And that's what this fragrance has, is a shower gel-like freshness. But not only that, it has some clubbing type sweetness as well. It has some bubblegum sweetness, much like the 1 million, the Ultra Mel. So it's kind of a merge between the shower gel fragrance vibe mixed with the bubblegum clubbing vibe, mashing it together. You get something similar to this. Now, in comparison to the original Y EDT, this one smells a lot darker and a lot sweeter. YSL Y, the EDT version, the original, to me, off of my memory, I don't have it with me, of course. I smell it a lot of times, but off my memory, it just smells very fresh. A very fresh, bright, straightforward fragrance, freshly out of the shower type of vibe. Not as blue and scratchy as Dior Sauvage and other blue fragrances, but it's still just very fresh and clean and bright. That's what the original Y EDT is, and that one smells pretty good, to be perfectly honest. It's just quite basic to my nose, but it does smell really good. This one in comparison is darker, is sweeter, it's more rich, slightly more syrupy. It's not as effervescent or as bright as the original EDT. So to me, the original is definitely more for the daytime, for any time wear, very versatile stuff. This one is more for the nighttime, for clubbing, for dates. It smells sweeter, it smells sexier. So if you ask me, is it redundant to own this one if you own the original EDT? To me, I don't think so, because one is daytime, one is nighttime, just as the brand intended. I think that's what the brand is trying to go for, is one for day, one for night, which, to be perfectly honest, it nails pretty well, because one is bright, one is dark, and it fits the theme day and night. So absolutely, it's not redundant to own this one if you already own the EDT. In fact, if you like the EDT, you're probably gonna end up liking this one as well, because this one does have the clean DNA of the original, although, like I said, a lot darker, but it's still there. You still get vibes of the original. So if you like the original a lot, you probably will like this one as well. Now, what are my thoughts on this scent personally? Personally, as a fragrance collector, as a reviewer, I'm not super impressed by this release, because it's not like it hasn't been done before. The sweet shower gel vibe, the bubble gum, it's been there. The DNA is not that new to me. It just merges what we already know in the market to be very mass appealing. Of course, the shower gel and the bubble gum, it's been done over and over and over again. So to me, as a fragrance collector, I'm not really super impressed by it, but I do know what this is used for, and I know the target audience. And to me, from a brand's perspective, do they hit their target audience? Absolutely, they hit their target audience. For those of you guys who don't care about any of that I just said, this does smell good. It's a fragrance that not a lot of people would hate. That's what it's made for. It's mass appealing, it's sweet, it's fresh. Anyone can really pull this off and it'll be just fine for them. So if you're one of those people who are looking for a really good nighttime scent, this is one that I can recommend quite highly. Lastly, for a scent, is this thing a must buy in my personal opinion, or a must try? To me, definitely not a must buy. The smell itself, again, is too familiar to everyone. So if you have a lot of fragrances in your collection already, this will not diversify your collection by that much. And chances are you already have fragrances that covers those occasions that you would already wear this fragrance in. So this fragrance is rather redundant to have in your collection, to be perfectly honest. But for those of you guys who have a smaller collection that are looking for one that works for nighttime in any occasion really, this one is pretty good. Like, I really recommend this one, and you should definitely try it. Alright, moving on, we have the performance. Now, this one lasts around 8 to 9 hours. Moving on, we have the performance, and this one lasts 8 to 9 hours on my skin, always solid. It always hits that number, at least 8 to 9 hours, sometime pushing to the 10 mark, but not often. Projection on this one is also very good as well. I get a nice cloud around me for a really good 3 to 4 hours. It is really good. Projection wise, no complaints whatsoever. You will get noticed with this one. Even if they choose to say something or not, people won't notice this one off you. So no worries there at all. Overall performance, both the projection and the longevity, great stuff. Next, let's move on to the versatility of this fragrance. This one is a super versatile fragrance. You can wear this pretty much almost any time at all, even to the office. I've worn it to the office before. Even though it has a sweetness, it has a bubblegum-ish vibe, it still works quite well because it's not overly sweet. It's also not overly too fresh or too scratchy as well. It just really works. Actually, I don't think any fragrance can be too fresh. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's not too sweet, it's not too strong for work. I actually like wearing this one to the office. Besides the office, you can also wear this, of course, to the clubs and when you're going out to the bar, even on a date, because it does smell sexy, it smells alluring enough to be a date fragrance for men. For clubbing, again, it works really great because the performance is really good. You won't have any performance issue when you're out to the club or when you're out to a bar, having a drink with the guys, whatever. This fragrance will work for you very well. It will last you easily throughout the night. In terms of season, this one is a anytime season really because it's fresh enough. It's definitely fresh enough. For the summertime though, I would say not to wear this during the daytime. It could be a little too sweet for the daytime, but in the nighttime, definitely nighttime clubbing, nighttime whatever, you can definitely wear this. In any other season, spring, fall, winter, this one works absolutely every time. So this is great for anyone, like I said, who wants a small collection, that just wants one fragrance that works for the nighttime, that works for the nights out. This one is very well for that department. When I think of the occasion that this wouldn't fit in, I really can't think of anything. Honestly, I just can't, because this one is so versatile. It just smells very pleasant, it smells really good. I can't think of any occasion at all where this one would not be appropriate. Now, the only occasion that may not be the most appropriate is formal. I don't see this being a super formal scent, but hey, man, you can smell fresh and sweet at a formal event. You just need to smell good, and this one smells good. It smells like you just freshly out of the shower with a little bit of sweetness. It works every time, all right? But if I was to really nitpick the versatility, formal occasion might not be the most formal fragrance, but it does work. Next, we have the compliment factor. Now, I wore this fragrance 6 to 7 times. I've gotten a total of 2 compliments so far throughout my wearings, and they're both from the workplace. So to me, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. 2 out of 7 wearings, that's already better than a lot of fragrances, to be perfectly honest. And in my opinion, for the type of smell that it is and the performance that it has, it does have a ton of compliment getting potential. It just really does. When you pair a very mass appealing smell with a very strong performance, it just creates compliments, much like Dior Sauvage does when it first released and when it was popular. Dior Sauvage is still very strong now. It gets a lot of compliments. People still really love it, and that's because it has a mass appealing smell and it has very good performance, much like this one. Although this one, is it as mass appealing as Dior Sauvage? I don't think so. Personally, I think Dior Sauvage is much more mass appealing, but this one is up there. It's definitely up there in terms of compliment getting potential. All right, now let's get into a price point. I touched a little bit on this in the beginning of the video about the price of this one. This one is definitely expensive. On the gray market right now, this 60 ml cost me $70. 100 ml would cost around $80 to $85. 100 ml would cost around $80 to $85. So definitely not a cheap fragrance, especially when you can get most of the designers now at 100 ml for roughly $60 and below. This one is definitely expensive. And now in terms of its competitors, I can see this being replaced by Dylan Blue. Also works great for nighttime. Doesn't have the sweetness that this one have, but still very mass appealing and very cheap. I heard in the comment section someone mentioned that they bought 200 ml of Dylan Blue for roughly $50 to $60 or below, and I'm like, wow, that is a very good value for Dylan Blue. So in terms of its competitors, it has a lot of competitors. Dior Sauvage is also in a similar price point, if not a little bit cheaper than this one right now. So yeah, price point, this one is a no-go at the moment. You can wait for the price to drop if you want to. It is still considered a pretty new fragrance, so the price may drop in the future, but I don't think it's gonna drop by a lot. So I think this fragrance is gonna remain quite a pricey fragrance designer-wise. So really try it out and make sure you love it before you purchase. All right, next we have the summary, the pros and the cons. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. Pro number 1, the smell is mass appealing, super mass appealing smell. No one's really gonna hate this one off you. It just smells really good, very pleasant, okay? Pro number 2, performance. This one is a monster, 8 to 9 hours, very good. Projection, 3 to 4 hours of really nice cloud, no complaints there. Pro number 3, versatility. This one is amazing for nighttime, for any season. This is a no-brainer. This is a really nice dumb reach fragrance, so versatility is awesome. Compliment factor, it has a ton of compliment potential because the smell is mass appealing. Also, the performance is really good, and I have gotten a couple compliments throughout the 7 times that I've worn this fragrance, so it does have a great compliment getting potential. Now on to the con. There's 2 cons. Con number 1 is that it's not the newest DNA out in the market right now. Some of you care, some of you don't, but this is a con for me personally because I'm bored of this fragrance. After wearing it for a few times, I just get bored. I don't see myself reaching for this too often, to be perfectly honest. I might wear it a couple more times before it just sits on the shelf pretty much forever. But this is a fragrance that you could get bored of rather quickly because the smell, again, is nothing that you haven't smelled before. Con number 2, the price is still rather expensive. Wait for it to drop down. It's really not worth it at this time. There's a lot of fragrances out there which are a lot cheaper in price that does the same type of job, if not does it better. Lastly, my rating. What do I give this fragrance and what do I recommend with it? This run for me gets a solid 4 out of 5. It is a really good fragrance. It is a really good fragrance, and for the majority of the public who likes to wear fragrances just to smell good, which I think is most of you guys out there, this one is just great. If you're looking for a dumb reach nighttime fragrance, this one is just great. Like I said, performance is good, compliment is good, scent is mass appealing. There's nothing to really knock about this one except for the price. Of course, the smell is nothing too new, but when you wear fragrances out, some of you don't really care about that. Not a lot of you care, so I'm not gonna knock a point off for that because that's just my personal thing. If I'm saying extremely subjective, this thing gets a 4 out of 5 very solidly. Again, really solid release from YSL. They nailed everything for a nighttime scent. It needs to perform well. They nailed that. It needs to be mass appealing. They nailed that. So there's nothing to complain about this fragrance, so 4 out of 5. Now, is this a bottle worthy or a decant worthy fragrance? To me, honestly, it really depends. If you're planning on having this as one of your only fragrances in your collection, maybe you own 5, then this is a bottle worthy for you. You're gonna get a lot of use out of this for sure. If you're just collecting fragrances, if you have a lot of fragrances already and you want to own one that's smells like this, then it's a decant worthy fragrance for you. So it really depends on your situation. Honestly, depends on the size of your collection and depends on your purpose for buying this fragrance. Alright guys, that's it for this video on YSL Y EDP. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find some good use out of this video. If you do, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't, leave a like, comment, and subscribe anyway. But let me know down in the comment section below why you didn't find this video useful, because I need to know so that I can improve my content in the future. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time in another video. Peace and bye.